Hi everybody, and welcome to Jewell Family Farm. Today I'm going to be starting a series on things that are easily taken to outdoor picnics or outdoor church picnics, outings of any kind. These are things that will not have mayonnaise in them. So these are things that have vinegar and olive oil or some kind of oil, things like that that can be left outside pretty much all day. If you still worry about them being out, you can always put another bowl or something that has some ice, or set it on some ice in a container, you know, like put ice in something and set your bowl on top of that. But these things are pretty much safe outdoors for extended time. So the first thing we're going to start off with today, I'm going to make a spaghetti salad. It's got an Italian dressing on it, and it's got different things, and a lot of the things that I'm choosing today is things that I had on hand. But the ideal way to make this spaghetti salad is with fresh vegetables that you get seasonal. But it's still early in the spring yet, and we don't have a lot of the things that in the garden yet, so I'm using what I have on hand, and you can mix and match this in any way that you want, and use as long as it's stable to be outside. You couldn't put any kind of meat in it like chicken or anything like that. It has to be pretty much vegetables or some kind of a bean. So all right, we'll get started. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start making some Italian dressing. Now you can buy Italian dressing at the grocery store. You can just buy a bottle of Italian dressing and pour that on there. I don't have any, so I'm going to make some because I have all the ingredients that I need to make it. So I'm just going to make my own today. So all right, here we go. So you need some kind of a mixer, a food processor, or this type of mixer. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is we're going to put some garlic in there. Now you don't have to use garlic if you don't like garlic. That's up to you. Or you can put more garlic. I'm going to use 1 tablespoon of garlic. I like garlic, but I don't want a whole lot of it. So there's 1 tablespoon. The recipe calls for 2 cloves of garlic if you use fresh garlic. Alright, so 1/2 cup of vinegar. I'm going to make this while my spaghetti is cooking over there. 1/2 cup of vinegar. 1.5 cup olive oil. So there's 1. And 1/2. All right, so the next thing is we want some black pepper. That's a half a teaspoon of black pepper. I'm going to use this pink Himalayan salt, so I'm going to use 1 teaspoon of salt. You can use whatever kind of salt you like. Let's see, then we're going to use a 1/2 teaspoon of dried basil. Whoops, that's Italian. Here's the dried basil. I think I'm going to put a teaspoon in, a whole teaspoon. Yeah, I think that's what I want to do. And I'm going to put a teaspoon of oregano. put a half a teaspoon of the Italian seasoning, because that pretty much has everything in it you just put in it already. Just adds a couple more things. Okay, I think that's it. Garlic, vinegar, olive oil, pepper, salt, basil, and oregano. All right, this may be loud. Let's see. Get a spoon, see what that. Okay, so I forgot that I bought me a new little let me show you what I'm talking about. These little things that I can talk into, a microphone. I forgot that I bought that. So if the sound's different, that's why I got it on now. All right, let's get back to this. Let's see what it tastes like. I think it needs some salt. I think it needs a little bit more salt. I'll put another teaspoon of salt in there. You get a different spoon. Yeah, that did it. Maybe 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Okay, so I'm going to let this sit here for a few minutes, and I'm going to get my spaghetti cooked. And when I get that done, I'll be back. Okay, so to the Italian dressing that I made, I forgot to add 2 tablespoons of either sugar or Splenda to it. So if you want to add that, that's what you need to do. So it tastes a lot better if you add a little bit of sugar to it or Splenda. So okay, so down here I've cooked 1 pound of spaghetti, and you just follow the instructions on the box. And I've rinsed it in cold water because I want it to be cool. I don't want it to be hot when I put all my other stuff in it. All right, so we're going to cut up some cucumbers. You can cut these up as big or as small as you like. I just cut them up in little cubes. And you can put as much or as little as you like also, or you don't have to put cucumbers. You can add zucchini or yellow squash. You don't have, and I was going to put a red onion in it, but you don't have to use red onion. You can use a Vidalia onion or whatever kind of onion you like. But like I said, it needs to have mostly vegetables in it, or like a bean. You can even put like kidney beans in this, or any kind of a bean like that. Navy bean. So you can put as much cucumber as you want. That's probably about, I don't know, really maybe 3/4 of a cup of cucumber. And I'm going to use a half of a red onion. I seen somebody cut their onion and they said that if you leave the end on the onion, you know, this part back here, and you slice it, you know, go down like I'm slicing this onion, but leave that end on there, it won't fall apart like this. I seen somebody do that. Thought that was a good idea. Of course, I never think of it when I'm doing it. You can cut your onion as big or small as you want. Let's see, I'll cut a little bit more. Go ahead and finish this half up. I think the red onion makes the salad look prettier. That's the only reason I use the red onion in here. But if I don't have a red onion, I just use just a plain old yellow onion, or like I said, a Vidalia onion. Okay, so I'm going to set these over here. I'm going to put some little tomatoes in it, but I'm going to slice the tomatoes. I've washed them already. It's better if you have garden tomatoes, of course, you know. But we don't have those yet right now. So I'm going to use these little cherry tomatoes. I'm just going to slice them in half. Throw them in. Again, it's your preference to how many you want to put in there. I think I'll put a few more in there. That don't look like quite enough there. These here little tomatoes are they're just called cherry tomatoes. They have all kinds of different little tomatoes now at the store. I seen some that was called something like little sweeties or something like that. So you can use whatever kind you want. You can use a whole tomato too. Just cut it up, you know, just cut it in little squares and put it in there. All right, I think maybe that's enough. Okay, so now I'm gonna put some olives in this because I like olives. If you don't like olives, a lot of people don't. You don't have to put those in. You can put whatever kind of olives you like in there. And put as many or as few or none. Put quite a few in there. All right, the other thing I'm going to put is I have some white corn. That's been canned in a can that I got at the grocery store because I don't have any fresh corn right now. So I'm probably going to put about maybe half of this can. I'll put a little bit more. Yeah, about half of this can in there. The other thing I'm going to put in is some what are these, garbanzo beans or chickpeas. Now you can use kidney beans, navy beans, green beans. You can use any of the kind of bean that you want in there. So I'm going to put these chickpeas in there because they got a little bit of protein in them. So that works pretty good. Now I'm just going to use the whole can of those. And I did wash and rinse these out as best that I could because I don't like all that salt. I have some peppers that I canned, I don't know, a couple summers ago. My brother gave them to me, and so I'm going to cut up a few of these and put those in there. They're pickled peppers. This is a jalapeno, but I took the seeds out of it. I'm not going to put much of that in there because I'm not sure how hot that'll make it, and I don't want it to be too hot. I'm going to cut it up a little bit smaller. I'm not going to put much of this in though. You can put some or just leave it out. You can also put like pimentos in there, anything like that. However you want to make it. Okay, I think that's all the ingredients that I wanted to put in there. I'm going to put this over here. Now, like I said, I did add 2 teaspoons of sugar. I'm sorry, 2 tablespoons of sugar. Well, I use Splenda, but you can use sugar. You can use whatever, sweetener you want. Let me get a spoon. And then this has no mayonnaise in it like you've seen. So this is, see, all this stuff is good for picnic. And let me put a little salt and pepper on that. You probably don't need too much salt because of the olives and the chickpeas and the corn being canned. But I'm going to put a lot of pepper. Being canned, they have quite a bit of salt in them, and I try to rinse them out as best that I can and get all the old, water that's in them that they can it in. I try to get that out and rinse the food off so it's not so salty. All right, so then we're just going to pour this over, and if you don't think you need it all, you don't have to use it all. You can put some in a pint jar and put it in your refrigerator. But this is really good if you let it sit for a few hours, even overnight's even better, to let it soak up some of this stuff. And like I said, you can add more stuff to it, whatever you want to add to it, or you could have used these whole cans of stuff. As a matter of fact, I think I might just go ahead and dump them in there. Go ahead and use them up. All right, I'll put a little bit more dressing on there. All right. It's really good, though, when you put squash and stuff like that out of the garden in there and fresh tomatoes. Oh, my goodness, it's so good. And this, like I said, will set outside, not in direct sunlight. Try not to get it in direct sunlight, but in the shade somewhere. And if you still feel like, you want to be a little bit safer, just get you a bowl of ice and just set this on top of that bowl of ice and just kind of cover it up. And it'll be fine. You can also get some little cooling mats to set them on. I think Amazon sells those. I looked at some the other day. They're like, you put them in the freezer. Oh, let me show you something. Let me get something. I'll be right back. When I was doing farmer's market and I had to take pies, and I had to take certain kinds of pies that needed to be cooled, I had big giant coolers. And this is what I used. I got these off of Amazon. I know this is backwards, but it says cooler shock. And these things stay frozen almost all day. And when you fill them up, you have to make sure that you flatten them while you're filling them up. Otherwise, if you're filling them like this, you fill them like this. But then when you go to put the cap on, you have to lay them down to put the cap on it so that they'll be flat. Because once they freeze, you can't take the cap back off. Of course, but I mean, even after, if you let them thaw out, they'll never be flat. If you hold them up like this and you put the top on them, then they stay like the big bump down here, and they're not flat. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say, but they won't lay flat, and they'll have this big amount of ice down here at this end, and this side won't have any. So make sure before you put the cap on, that you lay it down as you're tightening the cap. So then you can put this in like some kind of a flat dish, and then just set this on top of it. You don't have to have it in a dish, but it's just be a little bit safer, so somebody don't scoot it off the table or whatever. And that works really good. And they work good in coolers. Like I said, they stay cold just about the whole day. So that's it. That's about it for this salad. Let me see if I need to put the rest of this salad dressing on it. Let me get a fork. Okay. I love olives. I'm going to get a little bit of everything on here if I can. Kind of hard to catch. I think I do need to put the rest of the salad dressing on it. And it'll taste a whole lot better once it's set in the refrigerator for a few hours or overnight. That's what we're going to have it for supper tonight. So I've got several hours before supper. But anyway, make sure when you make your spaghetti, you follow the directions on the package. And also, when you put it in your strainer to strain it out, rinse it real good in cold water, and then let it sit and drip all the water out that it possibly can get out. You can get out of it before you start adding your vegetables. Before you put it in the bowl and start adding your vegetables, because you don't want the whole bottom of the bowl filled with, all that water, because it dilutes your salad dressing, and then it just doesn't taste that, all that great if you have all that starchy water down there. So anyway, this is a good recipe for picnics, like I said, for church socials, for anything that's outdoors that you want to go to, pool parties. It works out really good, this stuff here. So I hope you try it, and we'll see you on the next video. Count your blessings, and God bless you.